Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. Today, I don't know if you can tell, it's a Troll Tribal deck. We had Braden Winstead 1984, a subscriber to the channel, asked if I would do a Troll deck, and I've done a lot of Tribal over the years. I've even done subtypes like Noble Tribal. That was fun. But I don't think I've ever done a Troll Tribal deck before, so I was immediately interested. Except I think he had a deck list that he wanted to give me, and he couldn't get it to post to YouTube. So I'm left on my own, left to my own devices to make something. And so I settled on green and black. And it's an expensive deck because trolls are like giants. They're very big. They're usually thought to be expensive creatures. I think Sample Collector is one of the cheapest we have. And Laughing Jasper Flint, they get a legendary on curve that takes away my stuff. So we're definitely using removal against that. And if they have 3 more of those in the deck, all they need is 1 more to make my life a living hell. Anyway, I'm Travis. I took a little break for a couple days due to Thanksgiving. And playtesting on this has gone kind of wonky the last couple days. Sometimes it's done really well. Sometimes it's just too expensive. You can see I got a bunch of uncastable cards in my hand right now. But we are going to pump up the adaptive if they don't have removal. And we're getting closer to where we want to be. We just have to wait a little bit for the opponent to pass on whatever they're doing. And one of the problems with being a long-time player is you start to get a little impatient, but you never know if the person on the other side is a brand new player or not, so you try not to head to the emotes directly. Just try and be patient with them. Maybe cards are new to them, maybe they're deciding if they want to do something or not. Okay, Boneyard Desecrator. I think we hold on to the end, right? Let's see. Menace. Yeah, let's just put this down for starters. And then we can attack with this puppy. Get rid of Blot Out. I don't have any way to bring that back. And we'll just put the token, or the counter, on Sample Collector. They can block easy enough. But I have to attack in order to exile something in order for Sample Collector to collect evidence. They don't block it, even though I was tapped out. That's kind of weird. It's an easy 3 points. Now I'm saving up in case they have another Laughing Jasper Flint. I don't want to be defeated by my own deck. They are not missing a land drop, are they? Hello. Return a creature from your graveyard. Whenever a legendary creature dies. You know what? I think we just press the issue. Let's get rid of the Desecrator now. They have a Murder and an Outlaw's Fury. They only have one other. We can run through their deck real quick. Go to Pyromancers, Cerebral Confiscation, Murders. Only one Laughing Jasper Flint and a lot of removal. Okay. I'm not seeing anything to worry about that much. And evidently they were. Okay. So 2 removal spells and creatures, and that's all we needed. We didn't even really get too many trolls on the field just yet, but let me go ahead and show you what our makeup is here. You might have seen Trolls the movie. This is Trolls the deck. It might be better than the movie. We start with Vat of Rebirth. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard, it gets an oil counter for 3 mana. You can tap it, remove 4 oil counters, and get a target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. So I've got right now 26 creatures in the deck, 24 lands, and this gives me a chance to get a little bit more than my 26 creatures. Evolving Adaptive. It's a 0/0, but it enters with a 1/1 for each oil counter on it. It gets 1 oil counter to start with, so it comes in as a 1/1. Whenever another creature enters, if it has greater power or toughness, you put a counter on the Evolving Adaptive. So since the trolls are so powerful, both in power and toughness, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get this up to a 4/4 pretty quick. 1 removal with Annoy 2 Infliction. Get rid of a creature if it has mana value 3 or less. I don't care about poison. I don't have any poison in this deck. Armored Scrap Gorger is great for graveyard hate. It gets +3 when it has 3 or more oil counters. You can get an oil counter by tapping it and exiling a target card from a graveyard. You don't have an option. It's not like you may exile a card. Okay, so if the opponent doesn't have anything in their graveyard, make sure you're okay with whatever's in your graveyard going away, because it's going to exile something if it can. Normal green-black removal spell, Tear Asunder. The kicker, you can get rid of anything instead of just an artifact or enchantment. 1 copy of Blot Out to exile a creature or planeswalker, the greatest mana value. 3 of the Sample Collectors. This is from Karlov Manor. When it attacks, you may collect evidence 3. When you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on creature you control. So you can attack, get rid of mana value 3 from your graveyard, and make this a 3/4 right away, or maybe you want to pump up something else. We have Necrosquito. You notice I have an oil counter theme with the trolls here. Gets +1/+1 for each oil counter, and it starts with 2. Whenever a creature or artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, it gets another oil counter. So this is my big defense against flyers. The End, of course, you can exile creature or planeswalker, then you get to search their graveyard, hand, and library for anything with the same name and exile them. If you take something out of their hand, they get to draw a card to replace it. Okay, more trolls. The Not-Veiled Hermit. 4/4, then you can transform it for 5 and a blue. I don't have any blue, right? I didn't splash blue in here at all. So I'm just going to pay the 2 life. Turn it into a 5/5, the Chrome Host Hulk you see to the right there. When it attacks, up to 1 other target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until the end of the turn. So not bad to take a 2/3 and turn it into a 5/5. But a lot of the other stuff we have is pretty big already. We have Fonzbane Troll, a 4/4. When it enters, you create a monster roll, making it a 5/5 with trample. But you can sacrifice an aura attached to the troll. It fights a target creature you don't control, and then if it dies, you exile it in turn. So there's a little bit of an exile theme here between Blot Out and Scrap Gorger and Fonzbane Troll and The End. Lots of exile. Tear Asunder 2 is exile as well. I did have 4 copies of Bortuk Bone Rattle in here originally, but it was too unwieldy. So for 6 mana, it's a 4/4 Troll Shaman. When it enters, if you cast it, you choose a target creature in your graveyard. Return that card to the battlefield if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of basic land types among the lands you control. That's only going to bring me back the Evolving Adaptive, because I only have 2 basic land types. So everything else goes into my hand, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Then we have... I took out 1 Bortuk Bone Rattle for 1 Gix's Command, just in case they have a lot of swarms coming at me, and I can destroy creatures with power 2 or less. Gives me a nice little board wipe there. 4 copies of Oil Gorger Troll. When it enters, you gain 3 life. Then if you control a permanent with an oil counter on it, you draw a card. So this is kind of what set me on the theme of having oil counters with the trolls, because this is a big troll. I wanted to have the life gain. And once I had 4 copies in it, it automatically has me looking at oil. So there's a lot of synergies there. So make the jokes about oily trolls all you want. We have Thrun, Breaker of Silence, 4 copies. The spell can't be countered. It's 5/5 with trample. Can't be the target of non-green spells or from non-green sources. During your turn, Thrun has Indestructible. This can be a game wrecker, but it hasn't proven as decisive in a lot of games as I'd hoped. And then we have Flotsam versus Jetsam. You mill 3 cards to investigate, or each opponent mills 3 cards, and you can cast a spell from the graveyard without paying the mana cost. We have 3 Monumental Facades, so we can add oil counters onto whatever creature we want to. And we have 1 Demolition Field. We've got 4 Temple of Malady, so we can scry, and 2 Restless Cottages, so we have another way to get food tokens and perhaps more life gain, and 1 Hidden Nurseries, usually to discover 4. That's the theme. Let's go in here. We got one victory. Let's see how much more we can do with these trolls. How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Had my parents over. Fun was had. Some football was watched. Some naps were threatened. A normal occurrence for that day of the year. Okay, as always, we want to get up to at least 5 lands. I'll take the adaptive, though. I can cast that next turn. Hopefully that's not a mistake. Depends on how fast they are. But this is an easy thing to offer them up in terms of removal if they want to waste a burn spell on it. That they hit themselves. I actually don't know what's going on. Are they gonna... Is there a card in Foundations that trades life value? I have not seen the strategy recently. Okay, but we may lose anyway because we're just not drawing land. I can activate this only as a sorcery. I don't know what they were doing there. If somebody knows what that strategy was about, let me know. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of any cards that benefit you from hitting you in your face that much, that early, that fast. It's not like Arena ever gives you a chore, a daily chore, where they reward you for the number of losses you get, right? I wonder if you could get into the Guinness Book of World Records for having the largest number of consecutive losses playing Magic the Gathering for a day. Without just conceding in the first 3 turns. Was that 3 turns or was that 4? Alright, I want to cast something on the first turn. They're already hitting me. Here, let me get that life back. Big meanies. It's a blue player. You got to give him time. That's a fun card. Let's bring down the Scrap Gorger. Toughness is greater, so you get to pump up the adaptives. And they're already doing a lot of work here. Nothing in anybody's graveyard yet. It's a cheap detective deck, is it? Okay, we pump up the adaptives again. 6 points. They're not going to chump block. Nothing for the Scrap Gorger to exile, so they didn't get a counter on it. But I'm in trouble now with this many turns and not having drawn a land. They do not miss their land drop. That's a nice bit of life gain there. Okay. We won with 2 lands. How about that? This is the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday I kept drawing tons of trolls, very expensive trolls, missing land drops, and I had just a hand of completely unplayable cards for 3 or 4 games in a row. Just 4 or 5 cards, because you could never play them for the entire match. But our opponent this time is ambitious. That's good enough for near the Thanksgiving time, right? Okay, do I have a green? Yeah, there's a green that's untapped. When I have the Evolving Adaptive, I really do want to get that down on turn 1, so I ignore the tap lands, unlike usual. What are we looking for? Whatever they want, they like it. 3 copies of Thrawn, so that's either going to be very good for us or very bad for us. Well, I think it's time to scry. Nope. I'm willing to make the trade here, even though Adaptive might get bigger later. I feel they have a lot of value here if they have any kind of removal or a life gain trigger. Ugh. Flyers. I don't have a lot of defense against flyers in this deck. That's the one thing trolls traditionally are not good at. A case could be made that I could get rid of 1 troll and have some sort of thing that destroys flyers. Let's go ahead and bring down the Hermit. That way I'm willing to trade with the flyer too. They are not. Okay, let's go ahead and transform this. And we got 2 5/5s now. Sorry, a 7/7 because the oil counters are +1s. That's a nice little synergy, dare I say. And keep in mind that these are from different expansion sets too. So we have the Oil Gorger Troll that's from the same expansion as Evolving Adaptive and the oil counters. But it turns out the other troll also works nicely with the oil counters with its ability. They chump block for 2 creatures, but they still got a lot of life. Alright, we scry here. Necrosquito's fine. Bring down Thrun. Oil counter. Attack. 8/8 and 5/5. Do they have to chump block with the Paladin? They do not. I don't think they're going to get up to 25 life anytime soon. That is not a removal spell. So they can hit me over the head for 2. I think we attack here, right? Hang on. Let me think about this. Necrosquito enters with 2. Okay, if creatures die, it gets counters on it. Jump block. That's invulnerable. That's indestructible, so it's not going to die. I get an oil counter from the 1-card die-in. And then I can go ahead and put another counter on it here. Now I'm still dead if they have a single removal spell. I could have used 1 removal spell to exile enchantments. That would have been helpful. They did not miss. Oh, gee whiz. Exsanguinate. I wasn't ready for that card. That's the first time that Foundations card has been used on me so far. Okay, we had a lot of trolls. We had some good attacks. We were 1 turn away from winning, but we didn't get it done. Didn't get any of the Oil Gorger trolls either, which couldn't give me life gain. Or the land, which I could have used my energy to attack with and got me a food token. I have a lot of answers, but they're not really coming up in the right combination there. Okay, no evolving adaptive, so we can play the tap land. 2 removals this time. The Wizard Spies are at it again. Remember, I just said that I had some answers. I could have used that. And now they give it to me twice when there's nothing around. Now, we don't need to show them that we have the black land right away. We can power this up against artifacts and enchantments with just the green. Although, nope, that's still fine. They might think we're mono green for a second. But we can curve into a 3 and 4 pretty nicely. Let's see if they have counterspells. Typically they do if it's turn 3 and they're not spending any energy. But we're not just going to sit there and hold on to everything, right? We have to do stuff. If we're up against fairies, we could be having trouble. Usually there are other counterspells that are just as good to use besides Spell Stutter. You usually add in Spell Stutter only when you're using fairies. They bring something out. How about that? Scared of you. Okay, we don't mind that, because we're going to bring out the troll now. We know it's safe. They could have a bounce spell, but if they do a bounce spell, we might just exile this. Wait, this is not a common card that you see a lot. A lot of the trolls are just not being used right now. But this could be a fun build-around to have a deck with a lot more rolls in it. Just keep sticking another roll on the troll. And get rid of anything that's 3/3 or less. They do nothing. Okay. Well, I think we want to bring down some more stuff then. If they have another Spell Stutter, we still can't afford to counter it. You know, I'm okay with it. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's fine. Now let's go ahead and fight Talion's Messenger. Gambling, they didn't have a one-turn hexproof spell. And that exiles it too. Still have to worry about flyers, but I feel like we're in okay shape right now. The tapping is not important right now. Oh, wow. The rest of their hand must have stank. They didn't even want to try it. Well, the trolls are intimidating, that's for sure. This is kind of a card I wish they hadn't reprinted, because we've already got it right now, but that's an old complaint. I already ranted about that. I feel like somebody has to represent Arena. We hear about how much they pay attention to constructing for Limited when they're making their new expansion sets, and then thinking about things like Constructed and Commander. Arena really seems to be the final thought they have. When they were going to make Foundations, I don't think they considered the digital-only players. They included just a ton of cards that we've already been playing with the last 5 years. And if you want to hit my nostalgia button, you got to go back more than 5 years. That's all I'm saying. I should have played the adaptive. It'll be okay. We've got, when we have a Bortuk Bone Rattle in our hand, I think it's okay to play the tap land out first. Just because you really want to make sure that you're able to cast that on turn 6 if you can. Keep in mind, I'm expecting to have something in the graveyard by turn 6. Another blue player, more roping as always. Oversized deck. DC Spitfire 85. Does the line do anything? Yeah, kind of lazy. That's what my cat does. I'll go feed the ducks while we wait. I don't think this is a brand new player. I think this is a regular blue player. You shouldn't be doing this on turn 2. Yay! They actually did something. Hooray! Why are they still freezing? They're tapped out. There's nothing else they can do. Oh, they had to choose still. Yeah, okay. Well, we could just get rid of that, but I think we'll save it for the Hydra that comes down, yeah? They can tap to add 1 mana of any color, so again, we're waiting on them. Let's go ahead and put that down. We'll just go ahead and attack. We're going to have to wait after every single moment for them to acknowledge and pass the turn or decide if they're going to do something. It's very strange to watch Wizards of the Coast try and figure out how to speed up the games, but they can't help the other opponent on Arena. And no matter how fast they try to make things, we still have to sit here and wait for them and wait for them and wait for them and wait for them. That's got word 2. Not good. Now we still need to have 6 mana. Oh, never mind. That targets the opponent, so it gets exiled right away. That worked out perfect. Roaming Throne is a tough creature. I mean, getting a 4/4 for 4 and overboard with this ward stuff in the last couple of years. They kind of admitted it. Gavin Voorhees made a whole podcast on YouTube about it, and said they were going to be doing it less. And guess what? They have not been doing it less. Okay, let's bring this out now. I can activate this as a sorcery. Can I activate it in the same turn? What if I just offered up the adaptive first to trade? Ah! Wow. I guess we'll take the land. Hey, look at that. Got an extra counter. Okay. We have a troll in the graveyard. They're tapping out just to get more lands. What do they have 4 colors? 5 colors. It's a 5-color deck. Ouch. And trample too. And they've still got a spell they can cast somehow. Okay, that was everything you had. And it's all gone. And I still didn't get my 6th land to get the Bone Rattle. And there's no oil counters around right now, which there usually are, which means I don't get to do a card draw. How's that for a top deck? Thank you, Foundations. Foundations, Foundations, Foundations. Come on through. Why not? Go away again. If they have a haste creature, I'm dead. I'm okay with that. This is not indestructible now, so if they have a removal spell, they can do something. They kill the face down card? Why would you do that? Why would they leave Thrun around? Do they have, like... Are they going to take possession of it next turn? What is going on? Just because they didn't know what the card was, they were afraid it would be something worse than Thrun? Yeah, we'll just do this. I do not get that. I do not understand. Well, we needed those 2 removal spells. We needed the ability to exile those things. And Blot Out was the 3rd one, so we needed all 3. Just the creatures that they had were so devastatingly powerful. Which is weird, because we've got trolls, and trolls are big, and trolls are scary. But not as scary as hydras, evidently. I'm slowly warming up to Foundations, I think. I like the fact that hydras are back in force. They're supposed to be an iconic for green, right? I wasn't averse to the idea of maybe having... Wait, do I have an adaptive? No. Okay. Tap land it is. The idea of Tree Folk as an iconic for green was not Not a bad idea for me. I could have lived with that, but we're okay with the Hydras too. Another creature artifact for a 2/2. You know what? I've got this now. Let's just use it. They're doing that for demons. So it's one of the demon decks, is it? Alright, let's bring down the Scrap Gorger. How many cards do they have? Over 100 cards. I haven't played a mill deck in a while. I'm not sure why I'm coming against all these oversized decks lately. Tribute to Hunger? Okay. Can't to use it on a like a Scrap Gorger. Let's go ahead and bring down our next creature. Rawr. Okay, Demon Warlock. Exile target creature card from graveyard that's put there this turn. That could be my cards too. Alright. Potentially devastating, so you have to go too. And yet again, getting expensive cards. I still need 1 or 2 more lands to make everything work. Okay, that's a good enough start. They're missing a land drop, and they didn't do anything. It's still kind of easy for them to make up the ground now, but they probably should do something. Let's try Thrun to start with. Maybe they're playing Possum for a board wipe? Although they could also just be completely land-starved, which doesn't make this that interesting of a battle. Yeah. I'm not sure how good a game that was. That was kind of sucky. Sorry, Chris. Alright, I feel like we're due for another loss. Fear of Isolation! I think I only have one other copy of this so far. But that does have the gears turning in my head. Let's do one more. We'll do one more battle. I feel like we're having a good run today. Who would have thought? Troll Tribal. Bringing it home. If I keep this up, I may get my 15 wins for the day. Okay, no 1-drop. And we'll play that now while it can be untapped. I like my land draw already. I can cast 3 of my cards. Let's get rid of their Mana Dork. Not a problem using Anoint with Affliction on something that cheap just because I'm going to keep them to their curve. Because ours is expensive. And we may already come to regret that. We're up against the Hydras again. Oh, this can get out of hand fast without removal. Okay, just don't worry about enchantments or artifacts there, but it is another flyer. Let's go ahead and put down you. Again, with the blue, we have to worry about bounce spells. And if they get a good land drop, the Hydra's going to be pretty bad against us. It just taps us? Does it stop us from activating? Hang on. Oh, you tapped out too. Okay, they get rid of the aura though, with the Predator. Hang on, sacrifice an aura attached to the troll. No, I can't do it. But you know what? It doesn't say it has to be your aura. I've got an aura that's attached to the troll. You notice the rules. Sacrificed an aura attached to the troll. It doesn't say it has to be yours. Right? Okay, so let's try it again. No, he's just going to destroy it again. I did that wrong. I didn't really have a way to get rid of the Predator anyway, though, so... I would have needed an untapped land, so I guess I should have saved that one more turn. Oh, okay. That's okay. Maybe. Depends on if he has another bouncer or not. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of... I think we have to get rid of the Hydra, right? That's the only one you had in the entire deck? What else do we have? We have a lot of stuff to worry about. There's another Hydra. Yeah, I wish the end would have had more value to that, but... So this is just... It's never going to untap, huh? Okay, so you come down. You knew we had it. We tapped out. We fight that thing. Get rid of the aura. The flyer goes away. And we still have one untapped creature to block against lethal. What else you got besides a bear cub? Loot. And they have enough to power it up, too. So 2 attackers. They should just try and bum rush me now, right? They don't. Okay. Well, I think I need the life gain even though I don't get the card draw, right? Let's see. I'm at 4. If I put down 3 creatures... Yeah, I can't be greedy. Pump up the adaptive, take the life gain. Oh, wait. Where do I have... Oh, the adaptive has it. Never mind. I fulfilled my own thing there. The adaptive had the oil counter, triggered the card draw. That's perfect. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just looking what I already had on the board. Okay, they tap out to go fishing. They get something in the air. But they can't attack with it. And I'm feeling good. We'll get rid of the flyer again. We can't afford to attack just yet. Do they use loot again or something else coming our way? The good news is I don't have to worry about counterspells with Thrun. But that card draw is going to be a pain. They can still afford to trigger loot. And that's a nice way to sift through your deck. Still can't quite do what we want to do just yet. And if they can get an average of card draw and life gain each turn plus an extra creature onto the battlefield, this is going to be an uphill battle. He gets to play an additional land, so that makes a nice little combination there. I think I like their deck. And we need another removal spell. They can power that up already? Shoot. They had more energy than I thought. Okay, I guess we're doing this. And that's all we can do, because we've got to block Hero's Bane now. Every time. Yeah, did I say I was glad about the Hydras coming back? They got a lot of options. Well, we looked through their deck, right? I did say we had a lot to worry about. Nice. Maybe they'll mill themselves out before they kill me. Sheesh. Well, they got to get rid of a dozen cards, but I don't think they're worried about it. Especially if they have another fight spell. I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go in. That was a lot of land they discarded too, right? Okay, so 5, 8, shoot. We don't have enough. I need the life gain now. Get the card draw. It's tap land, which is not the best. But... yeah, I guess we're stuck the way we are. Just one more removal spell would have given me a lot more life. I haven't quite been able to get the same land draw as they have, but they had a little bit of ramp help with the way their green deck is constructed. Oh, wow. I think I'm not going to go pull up this deck again, my deck, at the end. So if you want the deck text, stick to the front. What I'm going to do is at the end of the recording, I'm going to copy down their deck. And I don't have all the cards yet, but I like the way they constructed everything. So I think I want to add to my series of decks that beat me, because I'm pretty sure they're going to beat me. But I like the way that they combined things here. So we're going to take some notes from theirs. And when I get the Hydras from Foundation, we'll start making this deck. Just getting this combo early gave them so much life gain, so much land draw, so much card draw. Whew. Well, there's not much there, is there? I can chump block the 9/9. We can get rid of the 8/8. And we can get rid of one of these puppies. And that's actually not the worst thing in the world, but it comes a turn too late because they've got all the 4/4s. Ta-da! We did what we could. We were a couple turns too late, I think. But they had to go through almost their entire deck just to get the stuff done. I still like it. We didn't do too badly all concerned with the land draw, although it would have been nice to get up to 10 so I could have cast a couple of 5-drops at the same time. They're really rubbing it in. But you notice they knew what they were doing. They knew their deck. We didn't have to wait a long time for that. So, good job. I can't be mad at that. That was fun. I'm going to view that battlefield. We're going to leave it there. So, as always, we thank our Patreon. Thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Remember to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.